Alright guys, so moving on to our next story, which by the way, I know that it may have been a while. If you're watching this on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, who might be in different shirts, and also the light might not be on when it should be. So there's a lot that's going on right now. Not your light, my light.
Completely the same.
Right, it's all completely the same. Now, what matters is I'm going to have to change the lighting while Tristan is talking about what story we're talking about right now.
Okay, we're talking about Netflix putting on the Infinity Gauntlet and Thanosing a bunch of series, but not the Punisher.
Well, yes, because here's what's going on. So you and I, Tristan, talked about Luke Cage and Iron Fist being canceled. Then I wanted to talk to you about Daredevil being canceled, but, things got in the way. If you're listening to this through our Patreon, everything's the same for you. But if you're actually watching this, you know that there was a bit of a gap. So we're actually in the new year right now, so Happy New Year. But we're in the new year right now, and I wanted to roll this up, not just talk about Daredevil, but also talk about Punisher as well, because people were saying, oh, is Punisher going to be canceled, even though they still put money into it. And I was like, no, of course it's not going to be canceled. But sadly, while it hasn't been canceled yet, here's why I say it's sad, right? So Punisher, you looked it up, Tristan. It's set to actually, season 2 is set to air on January 18th. The reason why that's sad for me is because even though I do want to know what's going to happen in the show, I would hate for it not to come out. I don't know if it's any better for it to come out and then get canceled on the 19th. You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm being serious though, right? Like, I don't know which is better. I get the show and I get to feel happy, because when they made the show, they didn't look at it thinking they were going to get canceled. Apparently some of the actors, heck, Disney, I thought that Disney and Marvel maybe, I don't know if they're playing coy, but I thought that they maybe threw Netflix a curveball, maybe increased the price of licensing. According to Marvel and Disney, they were like, no, we were hit out of nowhere with this.
Well then.
So Netflix is apparently being petty with it, despite the fact that, I gotta be honest, I feel like if you and I were paying for our own Netflix, and we weren't living with others who pay for Netflix for us, I don't know what I would want on Netflix in terms of new recurring shows other than the Marvel Netflix shows. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I love Stranger Things, I really love what I've seen of Black Mirror, but those don't get updated enough to make me want to continuously renew a Netflix subscription.
Right.
So I feel like Netflix is shooting themselves in the foot. Just because Disney's coming out with their streaming service, why would you still not want something to actually keep money coming to your bank? Yes, you're giving money to Disney, assumingly to license these characters, but I just feel like this was a really dumb decision. Because Daredevil was a show that people liked even if they weren't into the comic books. Yeah. Much different than other shows where my mom actually was watching Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and she doesn't read comics, so clearly she was enjoying them. She watched them before I did. She was telling me, and I was like, oh God, she's watching these shows years before I was. But at the end of the day, though, you see what I'm saying though, Tristan? I still think it's a really dumb decision. We talked about why it was dumb last time, but now with Daredevil, it's become even dumber.
Right.
Yeah. Also, by the way, funny story. The actor who plays the Punisher, I want to make sure I get his name right, he thought that the show was going to be canceled. Jason R. Moore. He plays Punisher and also plays Shane on The Walking Dead. He was thinking, like, wait, are we getting the axe next? And it's like, no, we filmed your stuff already. But, yeah, it's just so interesting that even he was left in the dark. Granted, I know he's not a producer on the show or something, but even he's like, so are we next, or is this like a shooting? Yeah. Is this like a shooting line or what? Like, but either way,
on the chopping block.
Basically, now there's something I want to look up. I'll be looking it up in a second. But did you know, Tristan, that apparently another reason I want to talk about this, that there's some kind of weird clause with Netflix where apparently Disney can't use these characters for 2 years. Wow. Like basically, let me see here. Disney can't use Netflix characters for 2 years. No, because what confused me was when I heard about this, I was like, this can't be real. And then I sadly don't have the article in front of me. Apparently the Marvel Netflix shows are restricted from moving to Disney Plus, which is Disney's streaming service, for 2 years. Now here's my question. Who at Disney thought that was an appropriate decision? Look, I love these shows, But why would you get into a situation where you would put this contract up? Like, this is the dumbest thing. I mean, I think that's even... Like, I don't know what's more dumb. Netflix canceling these shows? Like, all of them. Or right. Disney actually putting that into the contract.
Yeah.
Why would you make a stipulation in there that would not allow these characters to be used? Now, granted, I don't know if this means that the characters can be used, but they can't be tied into their Netflix counterparts. Or if the characters themselves just can't be used. By the way, for 2 years. So that means that we can't see these characters reunite or come together or even just hang out. Even just hang out and have some shawarma. On Disney streaming service until 2020 at the least.
Right.
Like, I understand why Netflix would maybe want that in there, like, as a kind of, like, as a fail-safe. But why would Disney ever agree to that? Like, I feel like Disney...
Yeah.
Like, isn't Disney so powerful that they could just sit back and be like, well, then I guess we're not making these shows. Too bad. Isn't that very odd? Yeah.
It does seem odd that Disney would agree to that.
So, question... Yeah, so, like, do you... What are your thoughts on this? Because I know, like, we're not technically talking about just Daredevil, but we never really got to Grieve. So what are your thoughts on Daredevil getting canceled?
I mean, I'm sad, even though I haven't really kept up with it, though I want to.
And that's what's even sadder about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just rather confusing.
Yeah.
You know, and I know we talked about kind of Iron Fist and Luke Cage maybe, like, were drooping in views, but, like, Daredevil still seemed to be going pretty strong. I thought, anyway.
Yeah, no. People, I mean, we don't know about the social media number. Well, we don't know about any numbers because Netflix doesn't release them. But people were saying that Season 3 of Daredevil was amazing. So at least in terms of word of mouth, I don't think anybody, from what I've heard, either online or in person, put down Daredevil Season 3. Some of them put down Daredevil Season 1, or even Season 2. Actually, more people Season 2, me included. But when it came to Season 3, everyone was like, oh, Daredevil's on point. This is the Daredevil that we would like to see, and this is what we'd like to see from Daredevil, the show itself. And then, boom, gets canceled like the other two did. Which, I saw this coming. I think we even talked about this on the Luke Cage Iron Fist one. I saw it coming, but I didn't want to see it coming. I thought maybe that one, like Jessica Jones would get canceled, Punisher would get canceled, but they would keep Daredevil because that one seemingly was doing very well. But, I mean, nope, just boom, gone. So, I think the reason why it's frustrating for me is because the one thing that I've enjoyed from Marvel more than DC is how they tie everything together so well and they bring everyone to the table to have a good time. So I was hoping that even if it wasn't shown in Marvel's Infinity War or Endgame, if these characters weren't shown, I was hoping at least in their own shows they would be reacting to it.
Right.
Or, hell, even though Defenders was a miniseries, they could do another miniseries about them reacting to Thanos.
Right.
And everything surrounding him. Because obviously a lot of shit was going down. So, it would be cool to see something like that, and to see them reacting to this and being part of that world, but now we're not even going to get them shown on screen until 2020, which to me means that unless you're going to do some major recasting, these shows might as well be done forever.
Right.
And they might as well just reboot Daredevil into a... Heck, if they can use the character but not this interpretation, Disney might just sit there and be like, screw it, 2019, 2020.
Make our own.
Yeah, 2020, let's do a Daredevil movie.
Right, yeah.
Instead of feeling like they're bound by this. It's... Yeah, no, it's just...
I guess...
Yeah.
It's very weird because then it feels like, well, what was the move at all? Like, what was Netflix's? What's your plan? What's the end game here?
Oh, well, Netflix's end game is...
Did you just see Thanos and be like, haha, you thought that was heartbreaking? Hold my beer.
No, Netflix's game was go fuck yourself. Like, it's the whole... No, it's the shooting yourself in the face to spite your nose. Oh, no, cutting off your nose to spite your face. Yeah. That's the one.
I mean, same difference.
Yeah, right. That's the same thing.
One's melee, one's ranged.
Yeah. But it's cutting off your nose to spite your face. Because at the end of the day, Netflix would still be making money from these, but oh no, we're giving money to Disney and we're working with them. It's just such a dumb move because if, look, if this was Netflix working with us, different story. Of course you understand why Netflix is going to cut off us. We're us. If we're we'll start our own streaming service, they would cancel any show we would have on Netflix immediately. But you're working with another corporation. What, do you feel cited? It's not cited. Do you feel slighted? Do you feel oh, well, they're getting into our territory? I feel like it's... Have you seen that episode of Gravity Falls where Gideon, who's Gideon, right? The little kid, little fat kid who claims to be a psychic. He gets so mad at his dad. Have you seen that one? Do you know when he screams at his dad? He screams, and he says this in a thick Southern accent. I can buy and sell you, old man. That's kind of what Disney, I feel, could do with Netflix. So it's why are you even thinking that, we're being slighted by Disney? You're being allowed to live on their earth. Just settle down.
Now it just reminds me of the drawings with Mickey Mouse with the Infinity Gauntlet. Fine, I'll do it myself.
Fine, I'll do it myself. But I'm just trying to say that.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
But I feel like Disney could just buy a large amount of stock in Netflix.
Yeah, right.
As if they really wanted to. If they didn't want
this game.
I don't know. I feel like if Disney was just you know what, heck, look how much they spent on Fox. And even though the deal hasn't officially been approved yet, it still has to get approved in Brazil. Still, they... look how much money they spent on Fox. It wasn't even a few billion. It was in the tens of billions, I believe.
Right.
I don't understand why Netflix is doing this, especially because I know Netflix is getting into a lot of different areas now, a lot of different genres. They have a lot of investors. They're actually a lot bigger than we're making them out to seem right now. But they're not Disney, though.
Right, but when you're being shadowed by Disney...
might as well just sit there and be you know what? How much money are we... And look, maybe they got someone on to actually, look up the cost-benefit analysis. They were look, honestly, we're not making a lot from Daredevil. We might as well cut it. And if that's the case, then all right. To be fair, Netflix is putting money to fund Daredevil. They're not getting that for free. So... Right. They're actually funding the show, not just the license. So, they're actually putting money into that. So, to be fair, if they really weren't getting that money, that's fine. But from a fan's perspective, myself and you included, of course, but from a fan's perspective, it seemed like there was so much praise on Daredevil and so much money being put into Daredevil by people's subscriptions that I do see a heavy drop if all of these Marvel Netflix shows get canceled. I don't know. I see a huge drop. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe it's just a few people being vocal. But I can assure you that if I was, if I was the full, if I was the one actually, what's it called? The highest tier account holder, if you will. If I was the only one with my account, and I feel like you're the same here as well, you would just cancel it. I'd tell you, hey, Tristan, let's do a podcast on Black Mirror this month. And you'd be all right, I'll pay the freaking subscription fee. But if we weren't doing that, then, what would you use Netflix for? Because, I think about, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, dude, but I think about what you use Netflix for. And other than a few things we do on the podcast, it's the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because you and I, when we talked about the Marvel stuff, you were oh yeah, I saw that one, or I haven't seen that one yet, or I'm going to see that one. Now, just in an instant, boom, they're all gone.
Right.
And I don't know, I think it was a bad move. I think that this restriction thing is even worse. And I don't really understand why Disney made that decision. Because I think that, looking at how many years these shows have even been on the air on Netflix, Disney could have just waited a few years and then made it themselves. Yeah. I don't really see why they need to get Netflix involved if this was the case. Either way, I want to hear what you guys think down below. Do you, I assume you don't like this, but I want to know how badly you don't like this. Or maybe you do like this. I don't know. Let's talk about it down below. Because this is just bad all around.